What's going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video, and I am in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, one of my favorite neighborhoods in Brooklyn. Years ago I made a proper video over here and it did pretty well, and I've been to this neighborhood many times, but I thought I would come again and do another proper video for this neighborhood. So I'm going to be covering different parts of the neighborhood. I'm going to be covering like the hipster vibe of the neighborhood. Then I'm going to be covering another part that a lot of people they don't show you, which is pretty much more local around Graham Avenue. But yeah, this is a really cool neighborhood in Brooklyn, you know, with a lot of things to do. But first things first, I'm gonna walk, make a left, and I'm gonna go to McCarran Park, which is a local park, right at the end of Williamsburg, and it borders with another neighborhood of Greenpoint. So we're gonna walk around and see what can we find. I'm gonna take you guys with me, so join me. Another thing too, it's summertime, so it's a pretty hot day, but it's probably gonna be busy. You're probably gonna see a lot of people around. So making my way to Drix Avenue to walk to McCarran Park to see what's going on. Then I'm gonna turn back and walk in the main street, which is Bedford Avenue, and make it all the way to Dominos Park. And then from there, we're gonna go to the other side of Williamsburg to see what's the difference. Even over this street, you see like business going on, like a smoke shop. A lot of cool things happening. And the cool thing about Williamsburg, especially this area, is that many streets that you walk around, they could be like a main street, because there's like stores, there's restaurants like this one, bars, you know, even street murals happening. But then you're gonna go to other parts and it's pretty residential with nice looking buildings, but this area is super developed. I don't know if you can see it, but if you look at some of the streets, you see how they're developing condos and they keep on popping more and more in the back. But we're gonna see that throughout the neighborhood. And this is a modern building right here. And not sure what this is in the first floor, probably like a restaurant, Boris and Horton. Might be like a coffee shop. For a lot of young people, they probably work remote and they come here and they have like a cup of coffee. So like I say, this area over here, a lot of young professionals live and they work remote or they work around, but they come and they live here. But I'm starting out with this side, and then, like I say, at the end of the video, I'm gonna go to the other side of Williamsburg, which a lot of people don't cover, but I kind of like that area because it still has the real authentic vibe of New York City. And as I walk in every street, you can see like condos after condos. And it keeps going like all the way in the back, like it's literally developed all over. I think I'm gonna make a detour in the street to show you what's going on. So I randomly selected the street. I've never been in this part. I know it takes me straight to McCarran Park. But as I'm walking around here, I wanna show you, look. It's like they developed this high-rise buildings over here. And then in this side of the street, they got even more. They even got more over here. So it's like if you're walking under a sea of new developments, then it seems like they're gonna develop something new over here. Then you see more developments happening in the back, so the neighborhood keeps developing and developing and developing. This is another street, you see they're developing more buildings. Living in the back, and then we got the nature over here. And then within a block ahead of me is McCarran Park, which is a pretty big local park that serves between Greenpoint and Williamsburg, Brooklyn, but it's part of Williamsburg. So I'm just gonna walk around, show you guys what's happening, and then we're gonna turn back to Bedford Avenue to show you the main streets. Now the thing is, the road cuts through the park. I've been in that side of the park, but I've never been in this side of the park. I think this side over here has more like recreational activities. Let me see if I can take a peek. Probably like some sports and stuff, but I guess people can walk around and walk their dogs or just have some exercise and stuff. But I see like a football field ahead of me. And the other side of the park is probably like a baseball field. So I discovered it's a track field, and then in the middle of the track field is a football field. And when I was a young kid or a teenager, I used to love running in the track. I think if I would have kept going, I probably would have been pretty good at running. And you see that the new developments up going on over there, the buildings and everything. But this is my first time in this side of the park. I always go on the other side, but it's pretty cool to look around and see what's going on. Gotta tell you, like I said many times, in New York City, the weather, it gets both extremes. Like the winters can be really cold, but the summers can be really hot. Like today is not the exception. It's pretty hot and humid. I'm not sure if it's because of the concrete, all the skyscrapers we have, but wow. If you stay outside for a long time, it feels pretty uncomfortable, you know. So you require like 2 showers a day. So I was on one side of the park, now I'm making my way to the other side, which I walk in this side. And it's pretty good. It's also like recreational. It's mostly like a baseball park over here. But then also there's like grass and stuff, and you know, pretty standard. It's not like a Central Park or like a Puzzle Park, but it's still pretty cool to look around, walk around. not gonna show you the whole thing because you visualize what the park looks like. But I know when I go on the other side, it's Bedford Avenue, so I'm gonna make my left. And it's gonna be the main street, and that's where you're gonna see all the shops, all the restaurants, where all the action happens in Williamsburg. So now I made it to Bedford Avenue, where all the action is gonna happen here in Williamsburg. It's also served by the L train line, which is a little bit ahead of me, but now we're gonna walk around to show you what's going on. So this is Bedford. I like that, surrounded by the trees. Usually this side is mostly residential. You'll see apartment complex, but once I start going a couple of blocks down, is where you're gonna see all the shops, all the pizzerias, you know, restaurants, smoke shops, coffee shops. So, you know, it's a pretty cool neighborhood and a cool street to walk around. Then ahead of me, there are some, looks like it's some brownstones. So let's take a little peek to see what's going on. So one thing I like is how the sidewalk is pretty nice, decorated, and then look at the architecture here. Pretty nice and beautiful, you know. I think if I cross the street, I get a nicer view. So here it keeps going, still residential, but the houses look pretty nice. Or the apartment complex. You know, so you see the sidewalk is pretty well developed. Then also when you go around, one thing cool about this neighborhood is you're gonna see a lot of street art. Once you walk around the street, there's one ahead of me that I'm probably gonna cross the street to show you guys. So like I say, there's a lot of street art, and ahead of me I see a really cool one. Make sure I can cross. If you guys been watching me, you know I'm a huge fan of street art, but it looks like it needs a little bit of a retouch. But still, it's pretty cool, like the colors and everything. This is another street art that I like, power to the people. I think it's pretty dope. And this is the area where you see all the shops, all the restaurants. Which is gonna be a really cool vibe. Right here we got a taco joint. And this is called Mama Pho. I guess it's like a Vietnamese restaurant. Then across the street, there's a couple of pizzerias too. At one of those healthy joints, so. And of course, across the street, we got what you're gonna find in all over New York City or many states, Dunkin' Donuts. There's also a couple of street food if you walk around here. This is one of the regular streets, not much happening. And you see all the shops and the architecture is beautiful. That's the subway line right there, the L train. Yeah, really cool neighborhood, and then still developing, you know. And this is only like a little small portion of the neighborhood, so it's probably gonna be a little long video. Because there's so much to see, so I'm gonna try to cover. I'm not gonna cover like the entire, but I'll try to cover as much as I can with the neighborhood. Because I think it's worth exploring every angle of the neighborhood. It's super diverse, but a lot of people, they always focus on this section, but it's much more to this neighborhood than just this hipster side, you know. And then like the first time that I came to the neighborhood, I made a video. I didn't really know much about it. I knew it was cool, but I didn't know where to go. So, but now I've been coming here pretty often, and now I discover more areas. I know where to go, where to cover. So, you know, coming back here to showcase and do a proper video. And this area is busier. See a lot of people, a couple of vendors here in the streets too, selling, I feel like jewelry or stuff. But yeah, you see a couple of nice looking shops. And this might be like a cologne store, like a perfume store. We got this over here. So like I say, there's a lot to see. I was seeing the area, then we got a Whole Foods supermarket, which is a pretty big chain of supermarket here in the States. Now I'm gonna walk towards Metropolitan Avenue, which is a big avenue that goes all over Brooklyn. I think it goes close to Queens, but I'm gonna make it right and I'm gonna walk close to the waterfront, try to make it a Dominos Park, which is a really cool park. That's a nice view of Manhattan skyline and the East River. So I'll show you guys. This region, they got a couple of street foods over here. And if you go to the other side, there's a Venezuelan joint, which I ate there. And it was pretty good. I had a cachapa, which is kind of like a Venezuelan corn pancake, and it's really good. So it's still right there, but I had my lunch and it was pretty heavy, so I'm not really that hungry. So I'm just gonna do all the exploring right now. So now I'm walking Metropolitan Avenue, and I gotta say it gets a little intense when it's hot, like a little bit hard to be walking outside, but we out here, you know, doing our best. But so far not much happening. It's just like regular buildings, apartment complex. You see the tall skyscraper, and then and the other side of that building or condo should be Dominos Park. So I think I'm just gonna turn the camera back on when I make it over there to show you. Here you see a couple of new buildings going on. So I'm gonna make my left over here and walk ahead. It's probably gonna go up the hill. So you're gonna see how cool the park is. And here they're building more and more condos and apartments. Like I say, if you go to the couple of blocks over here, some of the blocks, it was literally like warehouses or old buildings, but I passed by and they're literally developing the whole block, so that's pretty crazy. So now I'm going down the hill and I'm making my way to Dominos Park, which is a really cool park that you guys are gonna see. I think it's only a few years old, but it's really nice and it's pretty chill. So another cool thing is they got bike lanes here where you guys can bike friendly. And another thing I'm noticing is that I see the skyline of Manhattan, but it's super like foggy or smoggy. So I'm not sure the fires are coming back again from Canada. Well, maybe when the weather gets super hot, that happens, something like that. But we're approaching Dominos Park. So I'm gonna show you guys what's happening over there. This is Dominos Park, and wow, when I walk here it feels even hotter, like the sun's steaming over you. And then one cool thing about this park is if you go to the other side, it's served by the New York City Ferry in the South Williamsburg. Then if you go the other way, it's North Williamsburg, so it's served, you know, by the NYC Ferry, which you see right there ahead of me. One of my favorite ways to come here in the city, and today would be a good day because there's like AC right inside, but I see people in the top. Then you see the bridge. This is the Williamsburg Bridge where the subway line crosses by. And then you see the view, Manhattan skyline. Not sure how clear you can see it, but it's not clear. It's like a little smoggy. So I'm not sure it has to do with a fire in Canada. And then we see all those buildings over there at the end. That is actually the borderline of Greenpoint with Long Island City and Queens. So now we walk to the end. Then at some point the park resembles the Gantry State Park in Long Island City. Then you can see the bridge here, like I say, Williamsburg Bridge. At the end, not sure if you can see it because you can't zoom, is Manhattan Queens Bridge, and then Brooklyn Bridge is all the way at the end. Then if you go over this way, I think they have like an area where you could get a bite and a drink. And then people can sit and socialize right here in the grass, but today it's a little bit hot to be chilling over here. But you get a nice view of Manhattan. Like Midtown Manhattan is over this way. And then if we walk forward, there should be an area where they got kind of like a fountain. I'm not sure if it's going to be turned on today, but we're going to walk forward to check it out. So another thing I got to tell you guys, when you come to New York, no matter what time of the year, but mostly like in spring, summer, always carry a bottle of water because, like I said, the heat could be pretty intense and you could get dehydrated pretty quick. So, you know, carry water or Gatorade or any drink of your choice that can hydrate you so you can stay safe out here in this heat. It's pretty hot today. So this says Domino's Sugar, so I'm not sure if they used to do, this used to be like a sugar factory. I know I use Domino's Sugar for my coffee. They're giving you a free sister view. It's amazing. Then ahead of me is a fountain, and there's like another type of steam over there, so I'm not sure if it's gonna hit me, but it'll be good because it's pretty hot, so maybe that water can refresh me a little bit. This is it. And the kids, no matter what the weather is, kids know how to have fun. Wow, look at this. And in the nighttime it lights up. Wow, it's literally like a pool or something like that, but it's pretty cool. Perfect for refreshing in the water, in the hot weather, so yeah. So that was Domino Park, which is pretty cool. But now I'm gonna try to make it to the other side where you can see the entrance of the Williamsburg Bridge. And then I'm probably gonna make it near Marcy Avenue, which is like a different vibe, and make my way to the other side so I can end up in Graham Avenue. And you can see like the local style of Williamsburg. So it's probably gonna take me forever to go over there, but hey, let's do it. I tell you, this neighborhood is so big that I should have did like I did when I was doing Liberty State Park in Jersey City. Should have brought my bike around one side of the neighborhood to another one, and then move to the other angle. Like it's better. Like I already know how to hold one gimbal with one side, one handlebar with another side. So Yeah, but there's a lot of construction going on over here. Not sure they're gonna build like a condo or a loft for this over here. You can see they're developing more buildings over here. So I'm probably gonna make it to South 4th Street, make a left, and try to get the view of the entrance of Williamsburg Bridge right there. They are not playing. Like last time I came, these buildings were not here. And they're developing it pretty fast. Wow, it's like everywhere you go, more and more pops out. And it seems like they're gonna expand Dominos Park. Like I see the huge sign over there. This is like the modern condo right here. But yeah, if you merge into one of the streets over here, it's probably gonna be residential with beautiful apartment complexes. So I'm probably gonna make a detour in the next block to see what's the difference. As soon as I got off of those streets, here's just like a residential area. You can see the buildings, pretty much standard. It's like a modern version. But if I go forward, you're gonna see the J train and probably the M train passing by. And then the vibe is gonna change on the other side of the neighborhood. So yeah, it's still pretty lovely to walk around here. It's beautiful, like a little bird in the middle of a building. And then Williamsburg Bridge is over there, which one side is pedestrian, then the other side is the bike lane, and then in the middle you see the subway line passing by. I think I've only crossed that bridge once or twice, but it's been a minute. But not today, maybe another day I'll do it. And this is South 4th Street. You see how beautiful it is. Trees and a nice old buildings, but then over here it's like they develop brand new buildings with balcony. They even have like a parking if you guys own a car or something. There's more new buildings on the other side, but I'm gonna walk probably one more block or two more blocks, and then there's probably gonna be a view of the subway line passing underground, and I'll make it towards Marcy Street. This is the entrance of the Williamsburg Bridge, and on top the subway trains be passing by, so I'm gonna hang out here to see if I can capture that. And I think if you go to the other side, it's South Williamsburg, and it's mostly a high population of Hasidic Jews, kind of similar to Domino Park, so it's like a different vibe over there if you go that way. So I'm not sure if you were able to see it clearly, but it's pretty rare, but I managed to capture the subway lines from both sides coming together and passing by. So I think that was something pretty cool. But now let's keep exploring more of this beautiful neighborhood of Williamsburg. I'm gonna make it to the other side, and it's gonna be a different change of vibe from the other side of the neighborhood that I started. Here's like pretty much more local, but I think it's pretty interesting for you guys to see. Here I'm entering the other side, and it seems like they developed the area a little bit more. The park. But then, like I said, the subway line passes over here, the J train, and it goes all the way to Jamaica, Queens. So it's a pretty long line. I've taken the J train multiple times to come to this part of Williamsburg. So, but yeah, we're gonna walk underneath the bridge. But it's pretty traditional in many neighborhoods. It's gonna give you a vibe like if you're walking around Jackson Heights, but this is Williamsburg. This is another side of Williamsburg that doesn't get like really much coverage. But this is by Marcy Avenue. Here's the Marcy Avenue station. You can take the J train, the M train. Then they got a couple of restaurants. There you hear the train, so it interrupts me. But it kind of resembles Bushwick too. I don't think Bushwick is far from here. You see they got business on the other side. Sorry if I'm talking loud into the subway train. But yeah. I'll say like it keeps going. This is super different from the other side by Bedford Avenue. It's still pretty cool to explore. We got a nice store over here. This is like a department store that sells everything that's pretty cheap. And then if I walk here, I'm gonna be passing like a highway, I believe. This is a busy highway over here. And it's still Williamsburg, even though if I pass the other side, so. But yeah, I'm gonna do maybe a block or two, and then I'll make my left and walk all the way by Metropolitan Avenue and try to make it to the other side, Graham Avenue, which they also call it Avenue Puerto Rico, Avenida Puerto Rico. And by the way, this highway that I was showing you, I think it's 278, Brooklyn and Queens Expressway. So on a busy day, it could get super packed with traffic jam. So you see they're trying to change it to like a modern building that they're developing over here, but yeah, so it seems like they're developing no matter what part of the neighborhood you go, they're developing all over. So Pretty interesting. So here I am in the main avenue. Puerto Rican place, I think it merges into Graham Avenue. But this is a street where they got a bike lane and it takes you all the way to the Williamsburg Bridge, and you can see some of the new developments that they pop up over here. But I'm gonna walk straight and make it to Union Avenue, then make another left and probably make it to Metropolitan Avenue to show you what's going on, then make it to the other side to Graham Avenue. Would it be much better if I covered this neighborhood and bike? But I don't mind walking. I did a lot of workout today, but you can see how different it is this side than the other one. But when I go to the other side by Avenida Puerto Rico, you're gonna see how super different it is from Bedford Avenue. It's still like super local. Then not much over this area. They got some old buildings, but you can see how they develop new ones. So it seems like it's trying to make its way towards this side of Williamsburg, all the developments. And it probably will, because they got the J train and the M train. So, you know, wherever the subway train passes by, they love developing the area, so that way it's easier for the people who want to move to the neighborhood to commute into Manhattan or other parts of New York City. Then this is Union Avenue, so pretty standard. There are some condos that they develop. I'm gonna make it towards Metropolitan Avenue. There's like a bridge and a couple of street food, and there's a plaza over there, and then they develop like a hotel. But then I'll make it right to the other side. I have an idea what I'm talking about. New development. This is another one over here, and they got their Starbucks. I'm not really a big fan of Starbucks. I'd rather support like local coffee shops. Well, I prefer Dunkin' Donuts. And then some of the streets, you know what? Let me make a detour in some of the streets to show you what it looks like in the residential area. I think the street is gonna be pretty interesting because it has like some old looking buildings, but it seems like they renovated. And then in between they developed some new modern buildings, which I'm gonna show you guys in a bit. So this is what I'm talking about. You see, you can tell it's like old, but they renovated. And then if you look over here, look at this one. They popped this modern building right here. So it's like everywhere you go in the neighborhood, it's always worth to take a look at. And then I know there's like cameras also, so you know the neighborhood is pretty secure. And this is like a modern one. Like it feels like you're somewhere else, like in another town or another city. So that was pretty random. Like I was walking the main avenue, and then I turned my eyes and I looked at the right side, and then it was crazy to see this pretty residential street with the trees, but it was pretty interesting to look at because the buildings look pretty nice. But let's keep it up the Union Avenue till we make it to the other avenue. So this is interesting. They got this high-rise building right here, and then underneath they got a diner. At some point it kind of resembles a little bit of Court Square in Long Island City, where they got all the tall buildings, and then they got like a diner literally piled up with the tall skyscrapers. But yeah, and then over here's the subway line, which is the G train and the L train. Like I said, I've never taken the G train, but it connects Brooklyn with Queens, and I think it goes to Long Island City. But yeah, this is a diner over here, Kellogg's Diner. Not sure it has to do with Kellogg's, like the breakfast joint. And then there's a local park over here, and the bridge passes over here. This is Metropolitan Avenue, which goes all the way to Queens. But one time I covered this whole street at the end of this neighborhood of Williamsburg. And if you go to the end, it's like a different vibe. It's like super residential and pretty beautiful. But I'm not gonna do the whole stretch this time. I'm just showing you a little bit. But I'm probably gonna make a detour in one of the regular streets to see what's going on. You see it's not as busy as other parts of Williamsburg. It still looks pretty cool, you know, the buildings. And they got like a small shop all over New York City. I think this is like a flower shop or urban garden. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I made a detour in another of the regular streets over here, and you can see it looks pretty cool. In some points it resembles some neighborhoods in Chicago, also other neighborhoods like in Montreal, like Le Plateau. You know, pretty similar, like the same vibe, but yeah, pretty cool. And this is like a different side from the other part of Williamsburg by Bedford Avenue. This is more like residential, but it's pretty beautiful. So yeah, you can see the houses. You know, super nice. Then this is Manhattan Avenue. This will take you all the way to the other neighborhood of Greenpoint. And over here's residential, but once you make it to the Greenpoint area, it's a lot of restaurants, a lot of stores, a lot of shops. Kind of like Bedford Avenue, but the Greenpoint version, but this is like the residential part. You can see how nice and peaceful it is with the trees and everything. I think the trees help a lot with the weather, but it's still brutally hot out here. But yeah, like I say, same vibes, old apartments mixed with the new developments. And I think this one has a parking lot. And mostly, I mean, it's a diverse neighborhood, mostly a lot of young people live here. And this one looks like a little house over here. Wow. This is pretty cool. Then this over here is Graham Avenue, which I've been in the other side, but I've never been in this part. And this part looks like much more chill. But when you go to the other side, it's gonna feel like a real old school vibe of New York City or some parts of Bushwick. But so far over here, it looks pretty cool. But let's check out what's going on ahead. So far, pretty peaceful over here. Not much happening, but ahead of me, I see like a nice looking street mural. So I'm gonna check it out in a bit. There's a T-Mobile store, but I see that nice looking street mural. So I want to see what it is about. But yeah, this is it right here. It says Via Vespucci. So not sure if this area resembles a little bit more like of an Italian community. You see the Italian flag over there, then it says Ellis Island, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. Ahead it turns more Latino or specifically Puerto Rican. There used to be a lot more Puerto Ricans over here, but this neighborhood gentrified a lot. But I think still some of them, they live around this part of the neighborhood, which I'm gonna show you guys in a bit. Then this part over here is like I say more Latino, but little by little I can see it starting to change with the developments and the type of people that are living around here. So it seems like it's gonna make its way all the way to Flushing Avenue subway line. But yeah, over here still feels like more local, more original Williamsburg. This is like a side of Williamsburg that a lot of people, they don't really show you. They show you mostly like Bedford Avenue. So here's what I'm talking about. You see a mural with a Puerto Rican flag right here. Guys playing dominoes, and then over here we got a dollar store. So this size, you know, so this part is still pretty intact. And I think this is like a smoothie shop right here. They sell like a juice and all that. Fresh juice, I see the fruits. Today is not much people, but I've been here during the weekend, so when there's festivals going on, and it's pretty packed. It's a Spanish restaurant. Looks like it's a cuchi frito spot. And there's more on the other side. And I like this side a lot. You know, this is a side that they don't show you, but I think I like this part better than the other part, like Bedford Avenue. But the Bedford Avenue is pretty cool, but over here's where you feel like the real New York vibe, like the real community, and then you see like some tall apartment complex at the end. But yeah, pretty cool vibes, you know, super local. And you see it keeps going. I'm gonna make a detour to Moore Street to my left. Okay, there is a market, but I think it might be closed now, because it used to be closed early, but it's like a little local market. I went inside one time, and they got like a lot of cool products, especially products from Puerto Rico, like the coffee and stuff. I grew up there, and I saw some products. You pretty much get it in the island, they sell them over there. But I think that market is closed now, but I just want to go around and see what's going on. And here you got a store called San Germán. San Germán is a town in Puerto Rico. I actually went to university in that town. They sell t-shirts and products with the flags of PR. So yeah, pretty interesting. And then the market is in the corner right here. And then mostly in the summers in New York, they be turning on this. This one's not too strong, but a lot of people, they turn it on and they be, you know, playing with the water. It's not, technically it's not legal, but I guess they don't really enforce the rules that much, but it's also part of the culture of New York City. This is the market I'm talking about, Moore Street Market. I think it closes at 6 o'clock, and then over there's the Bushwick houses. And this kind of gives you vibes like if you're in East Harlem, but this is actually Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So that was the end of a video, me exploring the beautiful neighborhood of Williamsburg and Brooklyn, exploring all over. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless y'all, and peace.